Call the council to order at 7 p.m. Please stand and join me in a salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the records of October 16th, 2018.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Council Waterman will abstain from the first 3 sets of minutes. Just make sure the record reflects that. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I'd also entertain a motion to accept the minutes of November 6, 2018.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. I also entertain a motion to accept the minutes of November 13th, 2018.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. And lastly, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 20th, 2018.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Moving right along to the public hearing. In the first public hearing, Mr. Withers, would you kindly read the notice?
Certainly will. Continued public hearing relative to the request from National Grid to replace direct buried cable with new 1 to number 2 AL cable inside PVC conduit throughout Augsburg Drive. This underground cable is fed from riser P8149 on Slater Street.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak in favor?
Michael Frazier, National Grid.
Thank you. So you just want to tell us about the project? This one is a bit unique. It's not just a simple pole.
Yep, no poles involved in this one. Just replace the currently direct buried cable along Augsburg Drive. We're replacing it with, we're going to trench it, replace it, putting a new conduit and put in new cable to increase the reliability and reduce the outages in the area.
Any?
Yes, thank
Councilor
you.
Jackson?
Thanks, Mike, for being here. So my understanding with you is this underground cable was placed when the road was first built, and you're replacing it with conduit so that it's covered, it has more coverage so that you don't get any more outages, because I know they do get a lot of outages down in that area. But my question for you is, there are a lot of buses that go down there, because it is a very windy, long road, and, you know, my concern is, so will we have, like, police coverage there to, you know, when the trucks are, I know they're gonna be just on one side of the road, but will they have police there to help with the traffic going down and about, because it is a very narrow road?
Yeah, they should have police detail, and, you know, whatever they trench that day, they'll do a same-day patch. Depending on the condition of it, they may come back in the spring after the frost heaves is gone and to repave it all, since they're doing the whole street. But yeah, they usually do the 2-foot trench, and then they usually pave or patch up about 4 feet, so that way no water gets in.
And do you have an idea of when they're going to begin doing this? I mean, does it depend on the weather and the frozen ground and things like that?
Yes, it does. I don't have a timeline.
Okay.
This is just the next step, and then they throw it in the schedule.
Okay, thank you. And I had asked you earlier, if I could just get a copy of
Yep.
the maps later when you're all done speaking, that would be great. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Council Holmes?
Thank you. I grew up on Augsburg Drive. So the whole street eventually will be done. It's gonna, or are there certain areas of the street?
We're going to be staying on the south and east side of it. That's where the electric is currently. Looks like it's pretty much right up against the curb. So they're not going to pave the whole street, but whatever they dig up, they'll, you know, match to, if it's asphalt, they'll throw down new asphalt. And
Okay, and then I know Council Jackson asked the question when you thought you would begin, but how long of a process is this once you do begin?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would think a few weeks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone neither for nor against? Council Jackson, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
I do not, President Cooper,
Great,
thank you.
So this public hearing is closed. And we'll move right along to the first continued public hearing this evening for Leonard J. Irving at 80.
All right, next one's going to be a continued public hearing relative to the application for a special permit pursuant to Section 17-10.15 marijuana business of the revised zoning ordinances from the Leonard J. Irving Center, Inc., 81 West Street, Attleboro, Mass., to operate a medical marijuana treatment center at 70 Frank Mossberg Drive, said premises being Assessors Plat number 147, lot number 5F, with an area of 1.1434 acres located in an industrial zoning district.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone here to speak in favor?
Mr. President, members of the council, Jack Jacoby, 144 Bank Street. I represent the applicant. The only comment that I have relating to this application that is in addition to what we presented last time was that it asked whether we were willing to meet with the police chief before receiving an occupancy permit to scope out and implement a traffic control plan for the first 30 days. The answer is yes, and I filed a memorandum on December 12th. I hope that all of you got that memorandum. I did give Virginia 12 copies, and that is point 1 on the memorandum, so we put it in writing so that you would be assured that we would be doing that. The other comments I have relate to 76, so I'll leave it at that.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Cooper, do you see any, oh, wait a minute, let me keep going. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Is there?
My name is Francis Balut, and I live at 120 Carrier Avenue, South Attleboro. First, just to remind everyone that marijuana is banned by the federal government. Second, what I'm looking for here is for someone to describe the treatment center. And if any of the councilors or Mr. Jacoby could answer that question through Mark Cooper, would be
So,
appreciated.
What I would suggest, Francis, is that the cable company can help you watch the video where each of these applications, what was going to happen in each of these buildings at each of these applications was thoroughly discussed at the previous public hearing, which I believe you were present for, and the cable company can help you, set you up to make sure you can rewatch that film. And I know that the applicant also reached out to you, specifically to you, to help you understand what was going to happen here. And I'm not sure if you had that meeting, but I know that did happen.
What I'm actually also looking for, President Cooper, is to inform the people that might be watching this tonight here on television. They're not privy or get all the information of seeing how councilors react to certain questions, or how
You want to bet, Francis?
answered. But like I say, I'm trying to continue the transparency as much as possible on this particular subject. And to say it may or may not pertain here tonight. And I would respect your decision. But I was in touch with Jim, who was our state representative, and it was in response to looking for the governor's statement in reference to a subcommittee, which this had been published in the Sun Chronicle just recently, indicating that cannabis was looking to set up cafes and even have marijuana delivered to your home.
That's not what we're talking about here today.
I agree, and that's why I asked for your intervention on that one. But I can tell you that going down through all of these public hearings, if I may continue, when they say products, I'm looking for what kinds of products. When they refer to the marijuana retailer, I'm looking for the details of the selling.
Yep. So again,
Those-
Francis, I'll bring you right back full
Those
circle to where we
specifics.
started, which is each one of these is separate and distinct from each other. I think the applicant and their attorney did a great job at delineating which each was going to happen in each of the buildings at our previous public hearing. So I would just, again, say that, the cable company is very accommodating to help set up if you wanted to schedule something to go in and rewatch that to get that detail, but that wasn't the purpose of continuing.
I have had multiple offers from Attorney Jack Jacoby, and I appreciate that, but I have also seen a lot of these leader-type programs or outreach programs that people had come to, and
Yes. Councilor
certain
Benson.
areas
Francis,
were
just
still
1 second.
secret.
Excuse me,
Sure.
and I apologize. Point of order. You've answered the question. We must move on.
Yes,
Thank you.
I am in agreement. Francis, the point of order was that we've answered your question. If you have something specific about this particular application, we're happy to hear it. Outside of that, it's.
I
not
understand. Could I
appropriate.
ask one last thing? I'm looking for Mr. Blair.
I'll talk to you after.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in opposition? Is there anyone here neither for nor against? Neither for nor against? Council Cobus, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open at this time?
I do not.
Thank you. That public hearing is...
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
the zoning board and the Conservation Commission have not yet acted, and we are before the Conservation Commission tomorrow night. We may or may not finish tomorrow night. I hope to
In that
finish by
case.
February 6th, and the zoning board isn't meeting again until February 14th, so may I respectfully request that
Yes, you
keep
may,
this
sir. We
open
will keep
just-
that public hearing open, and you can notify us. Yeah, thankfully, you pointed that out. You can notify us in writing tomorrow of the data that you'd like to continue to.
Okay, I will do that, thank you.
Thank you.
And this same thing will apply to the next 4 hearings.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. Thank you. So again, we will keep that public hearing open. We will move on to the next continued public
It's a
hearing.
continued public hearing relative to the application for special permit pursuant to Section 17-10.15 marijuana business of the revised ordinances of the revised zoning ordinances from Ashley's Extracts, Inc., 81 West Street, Attleboro, Mass., to operate a marijuana product manufacturer at 76 Frank Mossberg Drive. Said premises being Assessors Plat number 145, portion of Lot number 1, with an area of 6.2842 acres located in an industrial zoning district.
Great.
Jack Jacoby, 144 Bank Street, representing the applicants. One of the things I filed with the memorandum was an illustrative chart, which I hope you all have, because it was requested that we give you a cheat sheet so you could see which building and which companies were operating where. And so that's what this is. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but I think it is pretty self-explanatory.
Great. Thank you for providing that. Appreciate that. Any other questions for Attorney Jacoby regarding this special permit application? Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone here neither for nor against? Anyone here neither for nor against? Again, we'll keep that public hearing open pending the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Conservation Commission action. We can
Okay,
move
the
on
next
to
one is a continued public hearing relative to the application for special permit pursuant to Section 17-10.15 marijuana business of the revised zoning ordinances from the Ashley's Inc., 81 West Street, Attleboro, Mass. To operate a marijuana retailer at 70 Frank Mossberg Drive, said premises being Assessors Plat number 147, portion of lot number 5F, with an area of 1.1434 acres located in an industrial zoning district.
Great. Anyone here to speak in favor?
Jack Jacoby, 144 Bank Street. Again, I'll just repeat that what I said about the traffic plan applies to Ashley's as well as the Leonard J. Irving Center, and I have no other comments.
Great. Any questions from the council? Here.
Just very quickly, that's this one that we're working on right now, right? The 81 West Street. I just, I'm looking for a moment.
The three of them at 8.
So my only concern is where we have
3
to.
of 76.
So my only concern, if we're looking at the docket, that one has a deadline of February 5th.
Yes, except the applicant is going to send to us a request to continue it beyond that. So as long as they are asking of the, pushing out this
Sure.
continuance, we can do it.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make, as much as he made it clear to us that we couldn't close it, we need to make it clear back to them that that's what you guys need to do so that we're
Right.
still, we can still conform for what, the
Yes,
path we're
yes.
on here.
My understanding is that you have, is it 65 days after the close, whatever the time period is, actually, and that doesn't start until
Okay.
the public hearing closes. But I will give you tomorrow a letter asking for a continuance date, and in the event that any extension documents need to be signed, I'm sure Virginia will consult with Lauren in the planning office, and they'll get me a document.
Yes.
I just want everything to run as smooth as possible.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Is there anyone to speak in opposition? Is there anyone to speak neither for nor against? Hearing none, again, we'll keep that public hearing open as well. We'll move on to the next continued public hearing.
It's a continued public hearing relative to the application for special permit pursuant to Section 17-10.15 marijuana business of the revised zoning ordinances from the Ashley's Farm, Inc., 81 West Street, Attleboro, to operate a marijuana cultivator at 76 Frank Mossberg Drive, said premises being Assessors Plat number 145, portion of lot number 1 with an area of 6.2842 acres located in an industrial zoning district.
Thank you. Attorney Jacoby.
Thank you.
You're back.
The only other point that I made in the memo was that Councilor Kobus had asked how we know which, the building inspector could know what was happening in any particular place in the building. And my answer that I gave you in writing, but I'll just summarize it, is that because of the seed to sale tracking system, each plant will be barcoded, and through a barcode reader, one can identify who that plant belongs to. Is it Leonard J. Irving or is it Ashley's Farm? And the same thing would apply when you get to the products in the extraction, the manufacturing facility. You'll be able to tell, with the barcode reader, this oil belongs to Ashley's Extracts and this oil belongs to the Leonard J. Irving Center. Basically what we have here is an arrangement where we have two LLCs that will own the two pieces of property, and the corporations will pay rent, and they will share common expenses, employees, security, maintenance, insurance, et cetera, and then just divide it by how much each of them uses. So that's the way we intend to deal with that. And then the other portion of that was the question of, labeling rooms and having things only in a particular room. And what my clients tell me is that they're growing different strains in different rooms, and they grow at different rates, and so they want to avoid cross-pollination, so they keep the plants pure. So you only have one kind of plant in one room. And it would be awfully impractical to go in and harvest a third of the room this week and then another third next week, and because then they have to disinfect and replant and start over. So the bottom line is it would be very impractical to try to say this is Leonard J. Irving's room and it has 3 different kinds of marijuana plants in it. So we ask your indulgence in allowing us to operate efficiently and just barcode all the plants so the building inspector could tell who they belong to.
Any other, Council Cobus?
First of all, thank you for quickly getting back to us with that information, the answers to those questions, and for the cheat sheet. That's incredibly helpful for us. The one thing I would suggest when sending the memo to us tomorrow or whenever about continuing the public hearing, if there's a differentiation between 76 Frank Mossberg and, was it 70 Frank Mossberg, and if we want to keep these open for 76, but maybe not keep them open for 70, or if you, so that we can move faster on the retail-only aspect,
Yes.
or whatever, I would encourage you to discuss that. And
Understood.
if there's a difference, let us know.
The variance and special permits that we have, I believe, only applies to 76, so the zoning board is, applying to that one. The stormwater applies to both properties, so
Okay.
I'll talk to Nick Wiley tomorrow and figure out, where we need to go in terms of a continuance date. We would like to get these closed as much as you do. We'd love to have you vote on the permit, and so we can take the next step, but we'll figure that out.
Perfect.
Any other questions or comments? Thanks.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone neither for nor against? Seeing none, we'll also keep this public hearing open, and we can move to the next one.
Okay. Next is a continued public hearing relative to the application for special permit pursuant to Section 17-10.15 marijuana business of the revised zoning ordinances from the Leonard J. Irving Center, Inc. of 81 West Street, Attleboro, to operate a medical marijuana treatment center at 76 Frank Mossberg Drive. Said premises being assessed as plat number 145, portion of lot number 1, with an area of 6.2842 acres, located in an industrial zoning district.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to remind you what this really is that the medical side, they require you to be vertically integrated and to grow and process as well as sell. So the only thing that's occurring at 76 is the growing and processing. The only thing that's occurring at 70 is the sale for the Leonard J. Irving Center. I have no further information to present to you on that this evening.
Any questions for Attorney Jacoby at this time? Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak neither for nor against? Hearing none, we'll also keep that public hearing open. Thank you. And that is the public hearing. That's all of them.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
At this time, we'll move on to the reading of the mayor's communication.
January 15th, 2019. Dear municipal councilors, I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the receipt of a fiscal year 2019 Student Awareness of Fire Education, or SAFE, grant, and a fiscal year 2019 Senior SAFE grant from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts of approximately $8,254. The mission of the SAFE program is to provide fire and life safety education within the community, with an emphasis on educating children and seniors about fire and other related dangers. There is no matching requirement for this grant. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body approve expending of such funds and any future grant amendments by the Attleboro Fire Department. Copies in your packets.
Public Safety Emergency Management Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Recreation Dennis Walsh regarding the need for funds to perform an assessment and to develop design plans and specifications for the repairs necessary in order to open the Twin Village or Dodgeville pool for the summer of 2019. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $17,000 from account undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government, to fund Twin Village pool. Copies in your packets.
Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Auditor Deborah Gould, excuse me, requesting to close Fund 3222, wastewater second stage lift. On December 27, 2017, your honorable body voted to fund the wastewater second stage lift project from the wastewater retained earnings in the amount of $409,000. The auditing department has been notified by the wastewater department that this project is completed. The project cost was $197,664.95, leaving a balance in the fund of $211,335.05. These funds may be utilized of any lawful expense associated with the wastewater fund. The wastewater department has identified capital needs that are not eligible to be funded by the premium received in May of 2018. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to transfer $116,335.05 in Fund 3222 wastewater second stage lift from account wastewater second stage lift other financing uses to account wastewater vehicle equipment fund other financing sources to fund a portion of the acquisition of the vehicles identified in the attached memo dated January 2nd, 2019 from Superintendent Hayes. In addition to the funding needs for vehicles identified by the wastewater department, the engineering and assessment study of the SCADA, or Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System, is needed as a precursor to the construction of the same. The identified economic life of this project does not make it eligible for funding from the premium received by the wastewater department in May of 2018. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $95,000 in Fund 3222 wastewater second stage lift from account wastewater second stage lift other financing uses to account wastewater SCADA fund other financing sources to fund the engineering and assessment study for the wastewater SCADA system to be identified in the attached memo dated January 2nd, 2019 from Superintendent Hayes. The combination of these transfers will close Fund 3222 wastewater second stage lift. Copies in your packet.
Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Auditor Deborah Gould requesting to close Fund 3220 Gravity Thickener. On February 21st, 2017, your honorable body voted to fund the Gravity Thickener project from wastewater retained earnings in the amount of $241,100. The auditing department has been notified by the wastewater department that this project is completed. The project cost was $213,960.30, leaving a balance in the fund of $27,139.70. These funds may be utilized for any lawful expense associated with the wastewater enterprise fund. The wastewater department has identified capital needs are not eligible to be funded by the premium received in May of 2018. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $27,139.70 in Fund 3220 Gravity Thickener from account Gravity Thickener other financing uses to account wastewater vehicle and equipment fund other financing sources to fund a portion of the acquisition of the vehicles identified in the attached memo dated January 2nd, 2019 from Superintendent Hayes. This transaction will close Fund 3220 Gravity Thickener. Copies in your packets.
Capital Improvements and City Development.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Auditor Deborah Gould regarding an appropriation from Fund 3200 Wastewater Premium Capital Reserve. The Municipal Modernization Act, which took effect on November 6, 2016, dramatically changed the way municipalities account for premiums received at the time a ban or bond is issued. Premiums received for debt issued after November 6, 2016 are placed in reserve funds, and the use of the funds is restricted. Presently, the reserve fund for wastewater premiums has a balance of $486,845.30. The length of borrowing associated with each piece of debt issued that contributed to this premium has been reviewed. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $486,854.30 of wastewater premium reserve funds from Fund 3220 Wastewater Premium Capital Reserve to Fund 3225 Wastewater Plant Upgrade. It should be noted that these funds are only a portion of the funding plan to cover the expenses anticipated in the plant upgrade. The balance of funding required will be through a loan authorization. Copies in your packets.
Budget and Appropriations Committee, please.
Respectfully submit a communication from Director of Veteran Services, Ken Baticher, regarding the donation of $250 in Stop and Shop gift cards from Bay Coast Bank. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro. Copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Water, Courtney Wunschel, regarding the need for funds to purchase a replacement high lift pump. High lift pump number 3 at the Wading River Treatment Plant was installed in the 1970s and has been out of service since spring 2018 due to complete failure. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $45,000 from account Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to account Water Enterprise Fund high lift pump. Copies in your packets.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Auditor Deborah Gould regarding the need for an appropriation from Fund 3300 Water Premium Capital Reserve. The Municipal Modernization Act, which took effect on November 6, 2016, dramatically changed the way municipalities account for premiums received at the time a ban or bond is issued. Premiums received for debt issued after November 6, 2016 are placed in reserve fund, and the use of the funds is restricted. Presently, the reserve fund for water premiums has a balance of $339,969.29. The length of borrowing associated with each piece of debt issued that contributed to this premium has been reviewed. The Superintendent of Water identified 2 capital projects for which funds currently in the Water Premium Reserve Fund may be utilized to fund portions of each project. The first project, the acquisition of a backhoe, has an estimated cost of $122,250. Please see the memo dated January 8, 2019 from Superintendent Wunschel attached in this communication. The Water Premium Capital Reserve Fund may be utilized to fund $108,862.21 of this project. The balance of this project would need to be funded from other available water enterprise sources, specifically retained earnings. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $108,862.21 from Fund 3300 Water Premium Capital Reserve to Fund 3331 Water Vehicle Equipment Fund, and to further appropriate $13,387.70 from account Water Enterprise Fund retained earnings to Fund 3331 Water Vehicle Equipment Fund to fund the acquisition of a backhoe. The second project, Reed Street Water Main Replacement, will require a loan authorization in addition to the partial funding from the Premium Reserve. Please see the funding request memo from Superintendent Wunschel. When contemplating the use of the premium funds for this project, the city considered when the Reed Street Water Main debt would need to be issued and the use of premium funds to begin the project. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body appropriate $231,107.08 from Fund 3300 Water Premium Capital Reserve to Fund 3332 Reed Street Water Main to provide funding for the Reed Street Water Main Replacement Project. Copies in your package.
Capital Improvements and City Development Committee, please.
Sincerely, Paul Haru, Mayor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving right along to any other communications.
We have a couple of other communications. The first one is an application to amend a Class II license dated January 9th, 2019, from Stephanie Kushin of Best Buy Automotive and Tire, Inc. at 925 and 931 Washington Street, Attleboro, for 40 display spaces and 8 customer spaces. And there is a public hearing required.
License Committee, please. Councilor Dolan, would you like to have a public hearing for that matter on February?
February 5th.
Is that enough time? Yeah, that's enough time, plenty of time.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah, that's all right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll have a public hearing for that matter on February 5th, and that is referred to the License Committee.
Okay, and the second communication was from Director of Planning Gary Arazian with the annual report relative to the administration of Ordinance 17-10, I'm sorry, 17, I'm used to saying 17-10, 17-16.0 signs.
Thank you. That Ordinance Committee, please.
And that is all.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd entertain a motion to go into Committee of the Whole.
Second.
Is there anyone here that would like to address the council on any city business at this time? See. Oh, yes, sir.
We have to vote.
Yes, exactly. I was jumping the gun. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. We're in Committee of the Whole.
Yes, for the committee as a whole. I would just like to know the very latest information in reference to water that's coming from the rooftop of the building next door to the Boston Senior Center. And that water comes down, the piping right now, as my last picture, shows one pipe here coming down vertically and another one here. They're supposed to be connected, so the water comes all the way down and then exits properly. Right now, the water covers the entire sidewalk. Same problem with the Sun Chronicle. Their water comes off their roof, covers the whole area of the sidewalk, so people need to walk in the street, which I have done, to get from a parking location back to the entrance of the Larson Senior Center. So can anyone tell me what's happening there?
Rock, paper, scissors on this? Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, well, point of order, I don't know that where it's, their private properties, that it's something that's in front of us, Mr. Balut.
Yeah, so
Can I jump in on here for a second? If you don't mind. So, Francis, there was a new business introduced to the council with regards to discharging water that came through Mike Tyler down the DPW, so that there will be, you know, once it goes through the ordinance committee, there will be potential penalties with regards to people discharging water, whether they're pumping it out of their basements and things like that. The simplest thing for us to manage, this is a concern. We do have individuals walking, it is wintertime, so the water is freezing. It is something that if you wanted to give the addresses of those two buildings to Virginia, we could forward that information on to Bill McDonough of the building inspection, and he can go out there, take a look at that, and then he can get in touch with the building owners to have them make those corrections. That's all that's within our purview here to be able to do for you.
And did you, regarding the senior center, did you talk to Madeline about reporting that to the mayor and making sure that that was?
I have spoken to Madeline in reference to her area of the exterior of the front entrance, and she said from edge of building to edge of building, straight out to the street, would be her responsibility. Unfortunately,
Is that adjacent to?
Oh,
this water is further down the street towards the other,
The old fishnet building.
the other center.
Christopher
Whether
Heights.
it's not coming up.
Christopher Heights. Sure.
Christopher Heights, yes.
we'll get the message to the mayor's office and they can take a look at that.
Because I realize it's the owner's responsibility, but this has been ongoing for like 3 years. And it would be nice if someone took a serious approach to that problem.
Yep, I will make sure he's aware.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you can always call there too. Any other questions or comments?
I didn't get his address.
Are you serious? 120 Carrier Avenue.
As I
Thank you.
say, I have called many people. I've taken many pictures through the years to prove my honesty. And it's an area I really would like to see done. And the same thing with the Sun Chronicle, though. Washes down the side of the building. You can see how much darker that wall is. And it does put people out into the street. And it's even more important for people who are disabled.
Yeah, thank you for that,
I'm really
Francis.
concerned about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd entertain a motion to arise.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving right along to committee reports, and we'll start with Council Jackson.
Reporting for Public Works Committee, I have no business this evening, but would like to call for a committee meeting at the appropriate time next week.
Great, thank you. Council Waterman.
I have the Personnel and Human Services Committee. I have no business this evening. Next week, we will have business.
Thank you. Council Conti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting for capital improvements and city development, we have no business to bring before the council this evening. However, next week we will be transferring some leftover funds and striking some old business from our docket. So we look forward to having a meeting on the next appropriate time.
Great, thank you. Council Conti, with regard to the items I just put to your committee, I'm going to ask Virginia to put your committee first. If you have guests as the week progresses, as you start to look through that, you'll be first.
Thank you.
Council Copus.
Reporting for zoning and land use, I Committee, I have no business tonight. Call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Vice President Perica?
Reporting for transportation and traffic, I don't have any business at this time. However, I would like to remind our fellow councilors and those at home that the Martin Luther King presentation will be held here. The municipal program is at 1 o'clock on Monday here in council chambers, and the interfaith service will be held at the Murray Unitarian Universalist Church at 2 p.m. If weather permits, and you have the opportunity to be here for it, it's a pretty moving program to be a part of. We've been fortunate enough for many years to be able to be a part of that. In addition to that, I would just like to thank all of you for your care, kindness, and support over the last few months. That has meant a lot to myself and to my family. And that concludes whatever I needed to say for today, and we'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Perfect, thank you. Councilor Delicio.
Thank you, President Cooper. Reporting for budget and appropriations, I have 3 motions to bring forward tonight. First, from the docket of January 8th, 2019, I move to approve the request of the mayor regarding a communication from Director of Council on Aging, Madeline McNeely, asking for funds to replace several emergency lights and exit signs. Therefore, the mayor hereby requests this honorable body transfer $4,875 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1541100-524011 Council on Aging Maintenance of Buildings.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments?
Pretty direct. We discussed it last week in committee.
Any from the council? Hearing none, the roll call vote is required, and we'll begin with Council Jackson.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Vice President Perica?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. From the docket of January 8th, 2019, I move to, let me see this written off. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor regarding a communication from Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance, Mark Furtado, for fiscal year 2018 fiscal obligations that were not processed in the normal fiscal year 2018 business cycle. Therefore, I hereby request this honorable body to authorize the school department to pay these previous year school bills totaling $2,112.68 as identified in Mr. Furtado's communication.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments, Council Delicio?
Nope, discussed last week.
Questions from any other councilors? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll begin with Councilor Holmes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Vice President Perica?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, President Cooper. And finally, from the docket of January 8th, 2019, I move to approve the request of the mayor regarding a communication from Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance, Mark Furtado, asking for an appropriation from the E-rate stabilization fund in order to purchase a variety of technological items. Therefore, I hereby request this honorable body to appropriate $46,476.42 from 8505-599000 E-rate stabilization fund, other financing uses to fund 2701-499000 E-rate IT, other financing sources.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, on this one, I read down the list of exactly what that $46,476.42 is going to be used on, but I also want to thank City Auditor Deb Gould for getting the backup information, because I asked, because we do a lot with the E-rate, but it's so spread out throughout the course of the year that I thought it was important that everyone had kind of the history on how we got to this point, what the E-rate is, and what it's used for, so just want to thank Deb for that.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this requires a roll call vote, and we'll begin with Council Jackson.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Vice President Perica?
Yes.
Mr. Delicio?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds? Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
President Cooper?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the business for budget and appropriations, and I would like to call for a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time for budget and appropriations as well as public safety.
Perfect. Thank you. Councilor Dolan.
Reporting for License Committee, I have no business this evening, and would like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Great. Counselor Reynolds.
The City Property and Claims Committee has no business to report on tonight, but I would like to call a meeting at the next appropriate time.
Perfect. Counselor Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting on ordinance, election, and legislative matters, no business this evening, but we'll call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time. And then also reporting special committee for tax abatement review, we'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time. I have a little update for next week.
Great. Thank you. There is no old business. There is no new business. Just you all will be receiving it probably in your box. I'll be out of town and unavailable from the January 18th through January 21st. Vice President Prekel will be the acting president during that time. And now I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned 7:45.
Wowee.